So some of you have already responded. Here are a few responses. Ramai lagi belum respon ni. Barada belum, Putri Dania belum, Alia, Nervindi. What are your thoughts when we are in a high altitude such as shown in the slide? What are the changes that occurs when we are in high altitude? So does the change affect the exchange of oxygen in our body? That is how we organize our answer. We started off with what is the difference between our current altitude and in high altitudes shown in the picture. Number one. Number two, does this difference influence the rate of gaseous exchange for oxygen in our body? Okay. So bila kita berada pada tempat tinggi, apakah beza dia dengan berada di tempat pada paras laut dengan berada di atas paras laut pada altitude yang tinggi? Ada beza tak dari segi tekanan udara? That is the first stage of our explanation. Okay, we compare air pressure. So when there is a difference in air pressure, does it influence or affect the exchange of oxygen in our body? Aina, apa Aina punya idea? Nurin, Dura, Salma, apa idea-idea kita? Mungkin kita mulakan dulu dengan difference in air pressure. Difference in air pressure when we are in higher altitude. Difference in pressure. Okay. Okay, dah semakin ramai mencuba ni, bagus. Okay, we start off with difference in pressure. And then, when we know the difference in pressure, then we will extrapolate atau kita try to relate the difference in pressure towards the difference atau the air pressure or the concentration of oxygen in our alveolus. Does it change? Okay, good. Explanation level 1, semua pun betul. In high altitude, air pressure is lower. Okay, semua orang tulis. 10 orang belum tulis lagi. Okay, step number 1. Okay, saya setuju. Saya setuju dengan statement Aira, Amrina, statement daripada Rashdan, and then statement daripada Baradar, Dura, Amita dan juga Irsyad. Okay, kesemua mereka first level tu saya setuju. First level answer, you said that in higher altitude the air pressure is lower. Okay, the air pressure is lower. Okay, that is the first statement. Semua orang mari sama-sama kita tulis, because when we write, it will be part of your notes. So when it is a part of your notes, when you receive the notes, it will be a complete notes, easier for you to refer after class. Okay, so statement 1 kita sudah ada, air pressure in higher altitude is lower. So that is point number 1. Okay, point number 2, apa jadi kepada oxygen concentration? What happens to oxygen concentration in inhaled air? Atau what happens to the oxygen concentration in alveolus? Okay, kita cakap dulu oxygen concentration in inhaled air. Okay, kepekatan oksigen pada udara yang disedut. Apa jadi rentetan daripada air pressure rendah tadi? Okay, because the air pressure in high altitude is low, what happens to the oxygen concentration in inhaled air? Nanti dulu. Exchange tu betul, but it will be the third. Oh, okay, because you want to put because. Okay, okay, boleh. Tak ada masalah. Okay, tak apa, boleh. No problem. So, apa jadi pada oxygen concentration? Okay, saya browse sampai ke bawah. Bagi tahu dulu oxygen concentration. Betul, exchange of oxygen is lower. Tapi sebelum tu, before that, apa yang kita nak explain dulu? Sebab bila kita explain exchange of gases, before we talk about oxygen will go from where to where, oxygen diffuse from where to where, we talk about difference in concentration, kan? We talk about concentration of oxygen. So, air pressure in high altitude is low. Concentration of oxygen in the alveolus atau concentration of oxygen in inhaled air is okay, dah ada. Boleh dulu either one ya. Concentration of oxygen in inhaled air. Kita cakap oxygen sebab soalan cakap pasal oxygen. Okay, kita kecilkan skop jawapan kita. We focus our answer discussing about oxygen exchange only ya. Alright, the concentration of oxygen in inhaled air is Ditunggu cikgu sebut tu. Cuba dulu. Air pressure. Bagus. Very confident. I like. Okay, Durah dia dah sebut. Okay, I like your answer, Durah. Okay, Durah punya idea ialah the the low exchange of oxygen causes the concentration in low exchange of oxygen. Sekejap. Durah, kita sebut concentration dulu baru kita sebut exchange. Because of concentration, difference of concentration, then low exchange. Dia punya tertib tu terbalik ya. So in bio-related questions, banyak dalam physics and chemistry pun kalau tertib salah, jawapan salah tau. Okay, sebab tertib dia tak betul. Okay, betul kan Durah? Sikit lagi. Durah dah cakap concentration of oxygen tu. Okay, dia ramai yang takut lagi ni, takut salah ni. Anonymous response pun kamu takut nak jawab, no? Ish. Kenapa ya? Ini anonymous response. Okay, anonymous response. Mari kita cuba. Sekejap Why does it only show Durah's answer? Okay. Okay, kejap ya. Ramai pula tintong ni. Okay, so concentration of oxygen. Okay, concentration of oxygen in inhaled air is low. Kan? Low lah, mestilah low. Okay, concentration of oxygen is low. Concentration of oxygen in inhaled air is low. Number berapa tu lah? Dah number 3 lepas tu barulah kita sebut gaseous exchange. Sekejap ya. There is something wrong with my dashboard. Okay, kenapa dia tunjuk satu je? Okay, the concentration of oxygen in inhaled air is lower, therefore Therefore, ditunggu juga ya. Okey, ya, jawapan Aira ini pun bagus. Sekejap ya. Okey, jawapan Aira ni pun bagus. Dia walaupun tertib dia tak sama macam saya bagi, tapi dia punya cause and cara dia susun tu ada tunjuk cause and effect. So hubungan cause and effect tu clear. So jawapan Aira ni pun bagus because the cause and effect explanation is clear. So Ira started off with the consequence, the overall consequence of being in high altitude. Dia terus bagi, dia kata efficiency of exchange of oxygen is less effective at a high altitude. Good. Okay, usually I will put this as the last point, point number 4 or 5. Tapi kalau kamu sebut, sebab Ira sebut nombor 1 and then after that she explains as the reason pun betul. Bagus Aira. Okay, point 1. Point 2, okay. The concentration of oxygen in inhaled air is lower than at lower altitude. Okay, tak ada masalah. Okay, and then hence the exchange of oxygen in our body is lower due to a low amount of oxygen being inhaled. Okay, so jawapan Aira ni, ayat yang ketiga adalah sama maksud dengan ayat yang pertama. So I'm finding that your first sentence and your final sentence is redundant. Okay, ayat tu redundant. The points are the same. I'm showing you Aira's answer because you can either state the first statement mengenai efficiency of gases exchange, oxygen exchange tu seperti cara atau style pada ayat pertama Aira atau cara cara ayat kedua Aira. Dua-dua pun maksud dia sama, dua-dua style pun betul. Okay. Okay, so point number 3, concentration of oxygen in inhaled air is lower. Okay. Point yang terakhir, there is less difference in concentration of oxygen. There is less difference in concentration of oxygen in inhaled air and blood capillary. There is less difference in oxygen concentration there is less difference in oxygen concentration in inhaled air and blood capillary. Kurang perbezaan kepekatan oksigen di dalam udara disedut berbanding kapilari darah. Less difference in concentration of oxygen in inhaled air and blood capillary. Kurang perbezaan antara kepekatan oksigen di dalam udara disedut dan kapilari darah. Minggu lepas kita ada part akhir perbincangan kita, the last part of our discussion is about the adaptation of alveolus. The adaptation of alveolus to increase diffusion of gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide. We talk about the thickness of the alveolus wall, which is only 1 cell thick. We talk about the number of alveolus, which is a lot. So there is a lot of total surface area for gas exchange. We also talk about the surface of the alveolus. The surface moist, so it enables gases to dissolve before diffuse through alveolus. And number 4, we also talk about the surface of the alveolus that are covered with a lot of blood capillary that enables for faster exchange of gases. And then we have also talked about besides the adaptation of alveolus, the difference in concentration between alveolus and blood capillary also plays a role in diffusion of gases. The bigger the difference of concentration, the faster the rate of gaseous exchange. Selain daripada penyesuaian yang ada pada alveolus, perbezaan kepekatan juga memainkan peranan. Semakin besar perbezaan kepekatan gas, tak kira lah gas oksigen ke, gas karbon dioksida ke, bila ada perbezaan yang besar antara alveolus dengan kapilari darah, semakin besar perbezaan tersebut, semakin cepat pertukaran gas berlaku. Isu dia sekarang ialah bila kita berada pada altitude yang tinggi, persekitaran berubah tetapi kita punya organ belum lagi berubah. Oleh itu, faktor penyesuaian alveolus kurang berkait dengan situasi high altitude ni. Yang berkaitan dengan situasi high altitude ni ialah faktor difference in concentration. Since inhaled air have lesser concentration of oxygen, when compared to the concentration of oxygen in blood capillary, there is a small difference. So when there is a small difference, the efficiency of exchange of oxygen in the human body will be less. Okay, kurang efisien untuk pertukaran gas sebab perbezaan kepekatan oksigen antara alveolus dengan blood capillary tu kurang jelas, tidak, perbezaan tu tak jauh beza sangat. Okay, so gas exchange tu kurang. So, I hope you update your answers here. Saya bagi lebih kurang 3 minit untuk update your answer. Nanti towards the end of our class, saya akan screenshot jawapan-jawapan yang menepati point yang mempunyai poin-poin yang saya sebutkan tadi untuk menjadi contoh kepada kawan-kawan yang lain. Okay, I will share a screenshot of sample answers that included points that I've given before. Okay, so while we wait for our friends to update their answer, I give you another 2 minutes. Okay, today we will going to talk about experiment 2.1a. Please refer to your textbook page 50 to 51 and your workbook page 32 to 33. We will be referring to textbook page 50 to 51 and workbook page 32 to 33. Even though we don't have the facilities to conduct the experiment at home, I have found and I will share with you a video demonstrating the experiment 2.1a, and based on the video we will try to complete page 32 and 33 so that we can also interpret the steps taken during the experiment based on the video, and we will complete the report in page 32 and 33 as well. Okay, you have another 40 seconds to update your answer. Okay, untuk soalan ini, dia punya tertib dia ialah number 1, high altitude, low pressure. Point number 2, concentration of oxygen in inhaled air is lower. Number 3, therefore, less difference of concentration of oxygen um, between blood capillary and alveolus. Point number 4, less efficiency of oxygen exchange. Okay, sekejap. Okay, saya lock screen because I want you to focus on the experiment 2.1a. Okay, make sure you are ready with your textbook or sama ada kamu boleh prepare dua-dua atau if you don't have the workbook, you can always refer to textbook page 50 to 51, workbook page 32 to 33. Untuk mereka yang tak ada workbook, bahagian-bahagian yang kita akan tulis, akan lengkapkan selepas ini, you have to write it in your notebook, tulis hari dan tarikh hari ni dan salin ya. Kena salin dalam buku because this is one of the compulsory experiment that we need to complete and all compulsory experiment must have a complete documentation. So orang yang ada workbook, saya kira workbook yang lengkap sebagai documentation. Orang yang tak ada workbook, dia kena jawab dalam PDF ni supaya you have a documentation in hand and I can always print from your notes your report here. Okay, let's start. Okay, this is an excerpt of page 32. Ini adalah sebahagian daripada muka surat 32 dalam buku kerja. Okay, siapa yang belum ada buku kerja, please stop me. Siapa yang belum ada buku kerja, bagi tahu saya, cikgu cepat sangat, sabar dulu. Okay. So, untuk orang yang tak ada buku kerja, hari tu saya memang ada collect data ya, siapa yang tak ada buku kerja. So, orang yang tak ada buku kerja, tolong lengkapkan slide ini sekarang. Okay, for the ones that don't have workbook, please complete this slide using the text tool. Gunakan text, button text ya. So I'm sharing with you right now my view as a student. So use the text button, click text and then adjust the size, bigger or smaller. And you can use either blue or black color and then you can write here lah. Okay, so for example, ini inhale ke exhale. Just one, for example, okay. So you must complete this because you don't have a workbook. So you must complete this slide because you don't have a workbook. I'm giving you an alternative to write your report. Okay, saya nak buka. Saya ada ya data siapa yang tak ada workbook. So you have to update this slide if you don't have the workbook. Okay. Okay, complete until at the bottom of the variables row, which are what is the manipulated variable, what is the responding variable, what is the control variable. Okay, kalau dah ada buku tak payah buat kat PDF. Pilih satu. Bagus soalan Salma. If you already have the workbook, you just complete your workbook ya. Based on my last survey I have over here, I have around 5 to 6 students that don't have the workbook. So these 6 students, please complete your PDF. Nanti kalau complete sekarang, kemudian tak payah buat dah. Okay, buat siap-siap. Okay, okay. Manipulated variable apa? type of gas. Okay, tak apa. Kejap saya show responses. Okay. Okay, I give you another 3 minutes to update this slide. Okay, good. I have around 4 people updating their slides right now. Very good. Okay. Bagus, bagus. Terus tulis. Jangan tangguh. Nanti kalau buat kemudian, nanti buat kemudian nanti kena ambil masa lain pula kan? Okay, let's see your answer over here. I can see your answer in the dashboard. Let's change it to list layout. Okay, good. Percentage of oxygen in inhaled air is higher than the percentage of oxygen in exhaled air. Katalah kamu tulis terbalik. Kamu tulis kata you write the percentage of oxygen in exhaled air is higher than the percentage of oxygen in inhaled air. In terms of science, in terms of science reporting, I will still accept your hypothesis even though you switch the position of inhale and exhale air in the hypothesis statement. Why? Because hypothesis is an early prediction, initial prediction. So initial prediction is not it is acceptable if your statement is inverse atau contradicts the finding of your experiment. Tak ada masalah. Okay, because it is a prediction. Okay. Okay, good. Sofia ni nak isi ke tak ni? Sofia macam slow apa?
I have the workbook, teacher.
Oh, okay. Sebab nampak Sofia start tulis. Ingatkan you are planning to write. Okay. Saya punya Google Assistant ni sibuk nak jawab saya punya soalan. Okay, good. This is your answer. Ini sample answer. Okay. Sample answer daripada Nervin Deep. Very good. Inhale air is higher than exhale air, and then manipulated is type of air in the gas jar, and the responding variable is the final water level in gas jar. Very good, Nervin Deep. Thank you. Okey, sama juga dengan yang lain-lain yang juga telah submit. Bagus jawapan kamu. Sadia pun sama, bagus. Rashdan pun sama, bagus. Jawapan yang lengkap. Okay, these are sorry. This is the materials and the start of the experiment procedure. The materials are candle, plasticine, matches, permanent marker, water, inhale air and exhale air. And then the apparatus used is glass basin, gas jar cover and gas jar stand. Okay, nanti kita tengok dalam video macam mana rupa paras dia. So this is the setup of the apparatus and materials. The setup of apparatus and materials. Initial water level dekat mana. Take a look at what is the initial water level. And make sure that the position of gas jar, the position of candle, the position of candle is secured by the plasticine, and then we use glass basin instead of the usual plastic basin sebab kita nak make sure we can observe the final water level clearer. Okay, sebab tu kita guna glass basin instead of the usual basin. Okay, now step number 2. Okay, step number 2, we will light a candle and invert the gas jar filled with air over the candle as shown in figure 2.6. Kenapa dia kata invert the gas jar filled with air? Because the first part of the experiment is using inhaled air. So inhale air ialah apa-apa udara yang ada di sekeliling kita. So kita just simply terlangkupkan sajalah. We don't need to collect gas in other places because the inhale air is the air surrounding the that surrounds us. Okay, and then finally we want to observe and record the final water level in units of the number of equal parts marked on the gas jar after the candle flame extinguishes. So dia proses ni menggunakan prinsip water displacement. This experiment uses the water displacement principle where when the gas jar cover the candle will use oxygen to burn and then when there is no oxygen inside the inverted gas jar, there will be less air pressure inside the inverted gas jar sebab oksigen dah tak ada kan. So tekanan udara dalam balang gas berkurangan. Therefore, air pressure from outside of the jar will push water towards into the jar. Tekanan udara di luar balang gas akan menolak air masuk ke dalam inverted gas jar, and then we can see there is an increase of water level after the candle is lit. Okay, so itu saya cerita and then let's take a look how we conduct the experiment. Okay, so I'm showing you right now the video of the steps previously discussed in the procedure. Please take a note a few changes in the procedure conducted by Teacher Hafiza. This is Teacher Hafiza. Teacher Hafiza conducts this experiment with minor changes in the procedure. So okay, for this particular slide, I provided text, provided the ability for you to put a text response for you to take note of changes in the procedure conducted by Teacher Hafiza. Please take a look at the video. Lama pula dia nak loading ya, sebentar ya.
Let's watch the demonstrations. Make sure you pay attention on the procedures and don't forget to take notes on the observations. I'm going to show you how are we going to compare the composition of the inhale and exhale air. So this experiment is experiment wajib. So the first experiment is to study the difference in the oxygen content in inhale air and exhale air. What you need in this experiment are candles, plasticine, matches, so you all have it here. You have the candle over here, the plasticine, some matches, rubber bands, okay, rubber bands that I already put on the gas jar. And you need a glass straw. Actually, you need only one, but I use 2 glass straws. And some tubes, rubber tube, and the candle stand over there. I have 2 candle stand there, right? So what you need to do first is to divide the gas jar into 10 equal parts. I use rubber bands to divide the gas jar into 10 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then light up the candle and invert the gas jar that contains an inhaled air into the candle. Since the inhaled air is the same as the air that we breathe in that surround us, so we just collect the air around us and just invert them onto the candle.
Okay. For those of you who have already identified the differences, you can straight away write in your text prompt in your PDAC. For those who haven't identified, I will repeat one more time the video so that you can identify what are the changes in the procedure conducted by teacher Hafiza. When you have identified the changes, then you can make sense of the results obtained from this experiment. So I will repeat one more time the video. Sekejap ya, ada seorang baru masuk ni. Okay, I will repeat one more time the video so you can take note of the few changes in the procedure conducted by teacher Hafiza.
Let's watch the demonstrations. Make sure you pay attention on the procedures and don't forget to take notes on the observations. I'm going to show you how are we going to compare the composition of the inhale and exhale air. So this experiment is experiment wajib. So the first experiment is to study the difference in the oxygen content in inhaled air and exhaled air. What you need in this experiment are candles, plasticine, matches. So you all have it here. You have the candle over here, the plasticine, some matches, rubber bands, okay, rubber bands that I already put on the gas jar. And you need a glass straw. Actually, you need only one, but I use 2 glass straws. And some tubes, rubber tube, and the candle stand over there. I have 2 candle stand there, right? So what you need to do first is to divide the gas jar into 10 equal parts. I use rubber bands to divide the gas jar into 10 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then light up the candle and invert the gas jar that contains an inhaled air into the candle. Since the inhaled air is the same as the air that we breathe in that surround us, so we just collect the air around us and just invert them onto the candle.
Okay, good. Some of you already identified the differences. Differences number 1 is she uses 2 glass basin instead of 1. Okay, she uses 2 glass basin instead of 1. And then good observation all of you. Ramai yang dah tulis kat sini. Ada submission daripada Irsyad, ada daripada Aira, ada daripada Baradar, Rashdan, Salma, Nurin dan sebagainya. Bagus. Okay, so all of you have also identified instead of using permanent marker, she uses rubber band. Kan lagi senang guna rubber band. And then the rubber bands are divided into 10 equal parts. Sebab kita nak tahu percentage kan, daripada kita divide by 5, kita tahu 20%, when we divide by 5 equal parts, each part represents 20%. But if we divide it into 10 equal parts, our observation will become more detailed because 10 equal parts represents 10% of content in glass jar. Okay, good. Okay, all of you have identified the differences. Now, in the next video, let's watch the the process that occurs when we start the experiment. What is the process that occur? What is the changes that we can observe inside the gas jar? Okay, dia punya difference dia guna two basins and she uses number 2, she uses rubber band instead of using permanent marker, and number 3, she divide the rubber bands to mark 10 equal parts of the gas jar. Okey anak-anak, minta maaf saya terpaksa potong kamu punya proses menulis sebab kita nak pergi ke observation eksperimen tersebut. Okay, which is the aim of our class for today kan. Okay, watch the video and take note of the changes that occurs in the jar. Okay, saya besarkan dulu and put closed caption.
Candle. Since the inhaled air is the same as the air that we breathe in that's around us, so we just collect the air around us and just invert them onto the candle. You will see the water level are increasing up to the second level, and the flame goes out as well. So it means the candle already used up all of the oxygen that are present in the inhaled air.
Okay, so what are the changes that occur in the gas jar? Nanti kita tulis observation, final observation in terms of number, kita dapat berapa. For those of you who haven't noticed, I will show you one more time the video.
Inhale air into the candle. Since the inhaled air is the same as the air that we breathe in that's around us, so we just collect the air around us and just invert them onto the candle. You will see the water level are increasing up to the second level, and the flame goes out as well. So it means the candle already used up all of the oxygen that are present in the inhaled air.
Okay, so you can see that inside the gas jar, two things happen. Number one, the candle already, the flame of the candle already, candle stop burning after a while because the candle have used up all the oxygens available inside the gas jar. That is number one. Observation number 2, we can see that there is an increase in water level inside the gas jar. So what happens there, kita guna sama juga prinsip tekanan udara, the principle of air pressure. When there is no more oxygen inside the gas jar, the air pressure inside the gas jar decreases. Therefore, the higher air pressure outside the gas jar will push water into the gas jar, causing the water level in the gas jar increases. Okay, so there are two things that we see there. Number one, candle stop burning. Number two, the water level inside the gas jar increases. Kena spesifik lagi ya. Water level in the gas jar. Dekat luar gas jar menurun kan, tapi dalam gas jar menaik. Okay, good. Sampai ada yang tulis until the second part of the gas jar. Umi tulis sampai second part. Bagus tu observation tu. Okay, good. Okay, I give you another 30 second to write, and then I will show you the image of the final observation. Last kali kita nampak apa untuk part ni? Saya dah lebih masa ke? Sampai pukul 10, terkejut saya. Saya ingatkan sampai pukul 9. Sorry. Saya ingat saya terlebih masa, risau juga. Okay, good. Okay, sampai pukul 10 kelas kita. Sabar. Saya ingat saya terlebih masa. Alright, let's take a look at the observation. What we can see here. Okay, what we can see here is the final observation of the experiment, and then I draw a line over there, a blue arrow showing what is the water level. Can you complete the first row in this slide? Untuk mereka yang tak ada workbook, kamu complete table shown in the this particular slide. Please complete the table shown in the in this slide only for the first row. Okay, untuk mereka yang guna workbook, kamu boleh lengkapkan baris pertama muka surat 33. Okay, the first row of page 33. So the final water level is in what part? Number of part dia berapa? 1 ke, 2 ke, 3 ke? And then since we have divided the gas jar into 10 equal parts, so 2 out of 10 is how many percent? Boleh kira kan? So put it under inhale air. Good. Okay, kita dah ada satu submission. Okay. So since in the title of the column, we already stated number of parts. If you just write 2 pun boleh, tak ada masalah. Tulis nombor 2 saja pun tak ada masalah. Because in the title of the column, we already placed there the unit is number of parts. Okay, good. 20%. Thank you so much for your submissions. So the final water level in the gas jar is 2 parts and the percentage of oxygen in the air is 20%. Sebab tadi kita bahagikan kolom tersebut pada gas jar tersebut kepada 10 bahagian yang sama besar. Since we have divided the gas jar into 10 equal parts, 2 parts of the water level, we can observe that the water level is at the second part of the gas jar. So the percentage of oxygen in the air is 20%. Okay, sekarang ni we want to repeat the experiment for exhale air. We wanted to know the concentration, the content of oxygen in exhale air. So, mari kita tengok video ni. Sama juga, watch the video and take note of the changes that occur in gas jar. Please take note, for this particular part of the procedure, it is slightly different because we wanted to observe exhale air. So the way to collect exhale air is shown by teacher Hafiza in this particular video. Please take note how she collect exhale air, and then what are the changes that occur in the gas jar. Okay, let's take a look at the video.
Here,
Okay, this
the
part is
water
the
level
first
is
one.
up to 2 parts, 2/10. So that means the inhaled air contains about 20% of oxygen. Then I'm going to repeat the experiment by using exhale air. Collecting the exhale air is quite tricky. So what I did was I filled the gas jar full with water and I cover it with a glass cover like that. All right. And then I invert it into the water, immediately into the water like that. All right. Take out the glass cover, and I will put it underneath, on top of the tube. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow exhale air through the rubber tube, so the exhale air will fill the gas jar. So it's just about a water displacement method. So the air that I blow in will displace the water out. All right, so I'm just going to blow. So that's it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this one out. All right. So I'm going to light up the candle again to test the oxygen level of the exhale air. All right. So I'm going to carefully cover this one up. Okay, and take it out. I should remove the water out. All right. Okay, and I will carefully invert it on into the candle. So you can see the water is rising up. The water rises about.
Okay, so for some of you who haven't identified how she collect the exhale air in the gas jar, I will repeat the video one more time. Please take note how she collect exhale air and the changes that occur in the gas jar. Okay.
Here, the water level is up to 2 parts, 2/10. So that means the inhaled air contains about 20% of oxygen. Then I'm going to repeat the experiment by using exhale air. Collecting the exhale air is quite tricky. So what I did was I filled the gas jar full with water and I cover it with a glass cover like that. All right. And then I invert it into the water, immediately into the water like that. All right. Take out the glass cover, and I will put it underneath, on top of the tube. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow exhale air through the rubber tube, so the exhale air will fill the gas jar. So it's just about a water displacement method. So the air that I blow in will displace the water out. All right, so I'm just going to blow. So that's it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this one out. All right, so I'm going to light up the candle again to test the oxygen level of the exhale air. All right, so I'm going to carefully cover this one up. Okay, and take it out. I should remove the water out. All right. Okay, and I will carefully invert it on into the candle. So you can see the water is rising up. The water rises about.
Okay, so I can see some of your some of the submissions here, some of the observations shared by our friends. Okay, number one, two or three of you have identified that when she blows into the first glass jar, the water that fill up the gas jar decreases, kan? Water inside the first glass jar decreases. This is because when she blows into the gas jar, the air pressure that comes from exhale air pushes water out of the first glass jar. So when all of the water are when all of the water went out of the gas jar, the gas jar is now filled with exhale air. Okay, apabila mula-mula dia isi first class jar tu penuh dengan air, apabila cikgu tu meniup udara ke dalam balang kaca tersebut, tekanan udara daripada udara yang dihembus oleh cikgu tersebut, Cikgu Hafizah menolak air keluar daripada gas jar. Jadi bila kita lihat gas jar tu kita nampak kosong, tapi bukanlah kosong, sebenarnya dipenuhi dengan udara yang dihembus. Dan saya setuju dengan kesemua pandangan daripada your ideas regarding what happens inside the second glass jar. You said that the candle goes out. Okay, the candle goes out after some time when exposed to exhale air inside the first gas jar, kita nampak candle lilin akan berhenti menyala apabila berada di dalam balang gas yang dipenuhi dengan udara yang dihembus. And the third thing that we can observe there is water level slightly increases. Bagus Nurul. Okey, betul tu jawab pandangan daripada Nurul Alia dan beberapa lagi murid seperti Rashdan and then Nervindi pun betul, bagus. Baradar pun okey, Barada pun dah nak habis dah tulis. Okey, ramai lagi yang berjaya observation dia seperti yang saya nyatakan ya. Bagus, good observations. And then in the next slide I will show you the result. Okay, so the first part tadi kita nampak water level fill up until 2 parts of the gas jar. Sekarang ni saya bagi lebih kurang Okay, semua dah tulis ya. Okay. So right after this, I am going to show you the final observation of this particular part of the procedure. Lepas tu kita akan buat discussion. We can complete discussion and answer some questions. Okay, Umi, last sentence Umi. Very good. Umi tengah update answer dia. Barada pun sama. Sikit lagi last sentence. Kita nak pergi ke next. Okay, Umi sudah. Okay, Barada. Sorry Barada. I have to cut you short. Cut short of your text writing because I want to complete this part. So this is the final observation. Please take a look at the arrow. The blue arrow shown in the picture is the final level of water inside the glass jar. Berapa tu? Slightly over the first part.
1.5.
1.5 boleh? Boleh? Good. 1.5, 1.5 betul? So you can write there for the second row, it's Hale air contain the final water level is 1.5. So the percentage is how many percentage? 1.5. 1.5 kali 100. Kali 100 pula. So 2 equals 20, 1.5 equals how many percent? Okay. 15%. Very good. Lock screen pula, sorry. Show response. Okay. So the first row is 2 parts, percentage 20%. For the second row, it's Hale air, 1.5 part, 15%. Very good. Kita tahu sekarang ni percentage of oxygen in inhale air is 20%, in exhale air is 15%. Make sure you complete your workbook. Both rows, we have data for both rows. So please complete both rows. Okay, good. Oh, ada orang dia tuliskan kat situ 2 dengan 20 ya. Bagusnya. Okay, okay. Okay, good. Okay, now let's take a look at the discussion. Okay, let's take a look at the discussion part. Untuk mereka yang tak ada workbook, please complete this part of the discussion in your PDEC so that your notes also will be as complete as the ones that have workbook. Okay, mari kita lengkapkan bahagian ni sama-sama. Okay. Okay, you can complete it for A and B. Use the text tool in your PDEC. Okay, good. Based on what we have observed in the experiment, based on our data, we can see that the gas jar contains containing inhale air ke exhale air yang ada lagi banyak water level? Inhale air lah kan? Sebab inhale air 2 parts of water level, exhale air only 1.5 water level. So for question A, gas jar containing inhale air has higher water level. Okay, so statement B, statement B, composition of oxygen in exhale air is higher. Macam terbalik je ni. Are you sure? Can check balik. Okay, check balik. Composition. Sebab okay, tak apa. Kalau confuse kat situ, tak ada masalah. Kita tengok statement yang seterusnya. Okay, okay, composition of oxygen in inhale air is higher than that in exhale air. Burning of candle using what type of gas? When we burn something, we use which gas? Carbon dioxide ke? Nitrogen oxide ke?
Oxygen.
Yes, oxygen. So burning of candle using oxygen. Okay. Dia punya ayat tu macam tak make sense kan? The burning of candle uses oxygen, boleh lah kan? Dia lukis daun pula kat gambar dia tu. Okay, burning of candle using oxygen. Once siapa yang depleted? Once sekejap. Ya, ada siapa nak jawab tu?
Oxygen depleted.
Yes, once the oxygen depleted, it causes water to keluar ke masuk gas jar?
Rise, dia masuk.
Dia masuk. So the water to enter boleh. To fill up, sebab dia dah kata to fill the space kan?
Kalau rise, teacher?
To rise. Sebab dia tak sebut water level. Kalau level, baru kita sebut rise. Kan? It causes the water level to rise. Kalau statement it causes the water level to rise, baru betul, boleh diterima. Tapi sebab dia kata it causes the water saja, so causes the water to enter the gas jar to fill the space that was originally filled with oxygen. Sebab dah tak ada oksigen dalam gas jar, air daripada luar gas jar masuk ke dalam gas jar untuk mengisi kekosongan yang sebelum ini dipenuhi oleh oksigen. So hypothesis accept ke reject?
Correct.
Tak, accept atau reject, bukan correct. Ramalan tu kita terima atau tak terima, itu saja. Kita tak kata ramalan salah atau betul ya. We don't say prediction correct or wrong. We say prediction accept or reject. So hypothesis is accepted. Hypothesis diterima. Inhale air has a higher percentage of oxygen than exhale air. Okay, so sebagai seorang saintis, we build up hypothesis based on our readings, based on our we make an educated guess of what will happen. So the guess is either accepted or rejected. Itu saja. Dia macam we don't use the term correct or wrong because it is an ongoing process kan. Membuat eksperimen ni ongoing process. So perhaps there are something that we do during the procedure that make the hypothesis is accepted or rejected. So when in the future, when there are advancements in scientific procedures, our hypothesis that is accepted now might be rejected later, atau hypothesis that is rejected now might be accepted later. So that's why we don't say correct or wrong. We say accepted or rejected. Okay, ahli-ahli sains kalian. So anak-anak, Alhamdulillah, tahniah, congratulations to all because we have successfully completed our first required compulsory experiment for 2021. Hopefully, our next compulsory experiment is something that we can do inside the science lab. Okay, tak best lah buat eksperimen online ni. Saya pernah buat sekali dengan 4 aurora tahun lepas, eksperimen osmosis. Memang seronok lah because at that particular time, the experiment, the procedure can be improved using materials that are available in the house. So we turn on our cameras and we do the experiment together inside the Google Meet. So I hopefully we don't need to go there. We will start conduct face-to-face experiment in April. Okay, so itu sahaja untuk eksperimen. Now, this is your homework for submission day is on Thursday. So, in this particular chapter, we will discuss about substances that are harmful to the respiratory system. So we have a lot of substances. Choose only one substance to present. Based on the substance you choose, prepare a video presentation to explain how the substance harms the respiratory system. Your video presentation, the duration is around 3 minutes and you can use whatever, the maximum duration is 3 minutes. If you can present lesser than 3 minutes pun okay, tak ada masalah. You can use whatever tools or app that you are familiar with to prepare your video presentation. Is either in the form of Canva, Powtoon, PowerPoint, Instastory, TikTok, video editor, and so on and so forth. So please submit your video. Bukan 8 hari bulan 3 ya, silap. Let's take a look at the Padlet first. So when you want to submit your video, you can see here in this particular slide, I've already provided here the link to upload your submission. Okay, and then for each submission, today please choose what substance that you want to present. Okay, nanti saya akan tunjukkan contoh abang Form 4 dengan Form 5 yang pernah buat tugasan ni sebagai panduan. Okay, so I have written on the top part of the Padlet, the due is on 11 March 2021 at 5 PM. Kenapa due dia hari Khamis? Sebab kita nak present hari Jumaat. In this particular site, you can see there is a assessment form. Peer assessment form tu nanti saya akan terangkan pada hari kejadian, hari Jumaat. Please take a look at this rubric, scoring rubric. So the scoring rubric I wrote in BM because I don't want language to become barrier to understand how I mark the video presented by you guys. And then it is also a guide for you to conduct peer assessment. Peer assessment tu maknanya kawan-kawan yang bagi markah pada kamu. So in terms of content, when your video content covers the whole topic in depth and shows that your knowledge regarding the topic is excellent, you will get 4. And then originality. So originality, good originality and the idea is presented well in a creative way. And then in terms of language, there is no spelling mistakes or grammar mistakes. And videography, when there are different shots, different points, different position of the camera, sound effects, or you use zoom in and zoom out and other special effects, you will get 4 for this part. And in terms of clarity, the quality and the focus of the whole video presentations are very good. So this is the rubric. This is how I, the teacher, and your friends, your peers will assess your video. 50% of the mark comes from me, 50% comes from your friends. So in this column, I wrote here the direction on how to submit your video. So for today, you choose which substance that you want to present. For example, I choose to present cigarette tar. So I will comment on the post. I will write here my name, Nadra Haris. And then I click submit. So I can see there, the first presenter for cigarette tar is already there. And then, semua anak-anak, bolehkah kamu masuk ke website ini dan tulis nama kamu, which substance that you want. If you want to write, if you want to present about haze, so comment on the first post here and click on the row add comment and then write your name, Nadra Haris. Oh, semua pun dia nak ni ya. Okay, so can you try add comment ya? Can you try submit your name here? If you don't submit your name, I will choose for you. Siapa yang akan buat carbon monoxide, siapa yang akan buat sulfur dioxide dan sebagainya. Okay, choose dulu which one you want. Okay, choose which one you want. Sunyi okay, Aira sudah, bagus. Awani sudah, Umi sudah, Salma sudah, very good. Okay, siapa lagi belum ni? Amita belum, Adam belum. Which one you want, Amita? Irsyad sudah, Rashdan sudah. Okay, what you want? Nanti saya tunjuk contoh. Contoh some of the videos that scored high among their peers. That these videos are prepared by your seniors in Form 4 and Form 5, your Form 4 and Form 5 seniors. Okay. So you can do whatever format of presentation you want. You can do a simple presentation or you can do it in a form of narrative. Ada penceritaan. Okay, ada penceritaan. So nanti saya tunjuk ya, narrative tu macam mana, presentation biasa macam mana. I will show two different ways to do it. Okay. So I will show you some of the samples that are prepared by your seniors after this. Make sure you choose which title or which part you want. Pilih dulu. Okay, Amita sudah, bagus. Siapa lagi? Barada belum ni? Barada, Dura belum rasanya. Nervindip sudah, bagus. Okay, Fakrullah pun belum. Fakrullah nak present yang mana? Semua kena present ya. Okay, ada masalah. Individual Irsyad, individual. Okay, individual dulu. Good question Irsyad, individual. Okay, bagus soalan tu. Okay, I'm showing you. Okay, right now. So you can present in a usual presentation method. Sekejap ya. Salah. Nanti saya tunjuk sekejap ya. Saya tengah pilih yang mana. Saya kena ingat balik yang mana satu. This one. Okay. So sambil-sambil kamu decide kamu nak buat yang mana, sambil-sambil kamu decide kamu nak buat macam mana, I'm showing you right now one example. This is a presentation from 4 Aurora. One of the presentation that got high marks. Ada 3-4 presentation that I had dapat high marks. We have 10 submissions here. This is one of the top 3 lah. So I'm showing you right now.
Hello, we're Biomusketeers and today we're going to talk about Amoeba Nutrition. Let's get right into it.
As we know, amoeba produces pseudopodia that uses its finger.
Sekejap ya. Dia punya video quality not so good lah. Sekejap ya.
Light extends.
Hello, we're Biomusketeers and today we're going to talk about Amoeba Nutrition. Let's get right into it.
As we know, amoeba produces pseudopodia that uses its finger-like extensions of cell surface to trap fluid particle by a process called phagocytosis. Take a look.
Fun fact, the process where amoeba engulfs nutrition is called the holozoid nutrition.
Moving on, the food vacuole is combined with lysosomes to hydrolyze food particles. In other words, it's basically digestion.
The nutrients are absorbed into the cytoplasm by simple differentiation.
Whereas the undigested food is discharged when the amoeba moves.
It's actually called digestion.
Amoeba nutrition is pretty simple, right?
We hope you can understand this video. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
Okay, this is one example. This is a straight up direct presentation, and they uses, I think I asked them, they uses Insta story to develop this video. Okay, here is another video. This particular video got high marks because she uses a narrative approach to present her content. The aim of her presentation is to show how to measure body temperature using lab thermometer. So other students submitted using a usual presentation style. Please take a look at how this student present her content. Sekejap ya. Sekejap ya. I have to change it to highest quality. Alright. Okay lah, auto dia tak bagi highest quality. Okay, so I have shown you 2 examples of video presentation prepared by your seniors in Form 4 and among Form 4 students, I've shown you that both presentations uses only handphone to prepare. Hanya guna smartphone saja, tak perlu ada tak perlu pun guna fancy video editor. They just use Insta Story to prepare the videos. Okay. So and then I've also shown you that it can be in direct presentation form, or it can also be in a narrative form. You can do it in the form in whichever format that you want. You want to make it as a campaign, or you want to make it as a commercial information, macam commercial break punya. Boleh buat macam in the form of advertisement ke, it doesn't matter as long as you you follow the guidelines as shown as in the rubric that I've provided in the Padlet. So make sure all of you have submitted, have commented. Sadia sudah. Alala, sulfur dioxide ni 2 orang saja. Seorang saja. Sulfur dioxide ni Isyad, nitrogen oxide ni Nurin saja. Oh lah 2 orang saja. Ya, ada lagi belum ni? Okay. Okay, all of you. Okay, Nervindi, Sofia, Alia sudah. Okay, nanti saya buat conclusion ya. Saya buat summary, siapa yang dah, siapa yang belum. So, we have come to the end of our class today. I would like to have your reflection on today's activities. What we did today is we we watched a video about experiment regarding investigating the content of oxygen in inhale and exhale air. We have also come to a conclusion that the oxygen content in inhale air is more than the oxygen content in exhale air. And then we also discuss about how water displacement method is used to conduct this experiment. Apakah peranan konsep water displacement dalam eksperimen ni? Water displacement when the candle is burning, water displacement that occurs when collecting exhale air. And then we have also discussed about this Friday's activity, which is preparing a video regarding substances that affects our health. It is an individual assignment. Semua mesti tulis nama, pilih substance yang dia nak. Saya akan share link to this particular Padlet so that you can fill up this Padlet. Nak pilih yang mana ya? Okay, saya bagi dekat dalam Telegram Padlet untuk kamu submit tu kat mana, okay? So, what was hard? The homework. Jangan risau, nanti adalah idea datang. Don't worry, okay? It's a video presentation, bukan kamu present pada masa tu tau. Kita akan tonton video pada masa tu. Why Thursday? Because I want to make an assessment before you make the assessment. Okay, I want to make the assessment before you make the assessment, so that hopefully by the end of the class we have the mark already. Oh, the video audio has echoes. Okay. That is my fault actually, because I didn't switch off my microphone. Thank you for pointing that out. So, it's already 10 o'clock. Thank you so much for coming today. I will leave the PEDAC activity on so that you can still submit your reflection. If there is any part of today's lesson you need me to repeat, please write in what was hard. So, thank you so much for coming today. Sekian, wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Assalamualaikum. Boleh Amita, PowerPoint boleh.
Thank you